People always say that when you study abroad, it changes you. Almost a year has passed since I left for Japan, but every day I'm still learning from the experiences I had and the people I met. I am reminded of a Japanese phrase,物の哀れ, which translates roughly to awareness of things. And if someone asked me to describe what I've learned, this is what I would say. Japan has given me a new awareness of where I've come from and where I'm going. That's how I became interested in learning about the experiences of other Plymouth State students and hearing what they had to say about their experiences abroad.
I started Spanish when I was in 7th grade. I was just so attracted to the language, and I was moved by it. Just thought this little country on the Iberian Peninsula has so much to boast, and just every part is so diverse and so different. And I was reading the literature in seminars, and I just wanted to experience this firsthand. I remember my plane arrived in Madrid, and I couldn't find my terminal, so I went up to this very friendly lady, and I thought, this is great. Okay, I'm finally in Madrid. I'm in Spain. I can speak Spanish. And I was so tired from the flight, so jet lagged, that I just couldn't find the words I wanted to say. I just couldn't talk to her.
So right off the bat, everything you had learned about Spanish was being put to the test in real life. What was it like living on a Spanish campus?
The University of Seville, or in Spanish, La Universidad de Sevilla, which is huge. There's different buildings throughout the entire city, but I was in La Antigua Fábrica de Tabaco. This professor I had was brilliant. The man was an expert in poetry from the Golden Age. He had studied this work inside and out, and the way he taught it was just incredible. He brought it to us just in such an incredible manner. We were able to just see it and feel it and interact with the text. And it was just something I've never experienced before in my entire life. He blew me away and inspired me, actually, to continue on to grad school. And I would like to work towards a master's and perhaps PhD in Hispanic studies and Hispanic literature.
You've received scholarships before. If your scholarship donor were in the room, what would you want to say to them?
Well, the number one thing I would want to say to my donor is that I thank my donor wholeheartedly, warmly, because when someone just hands you a scholarship, they're investing in your education, and they feel confident enough in helping this student achieve what he wants academically. And so I would thank my donor. I would say thank you so much for trusting me, for investing in me and my future. Spain has really opened my eyes, and it just being there, seeing everything, experience everything, has really taught me that Spain just isn't something you read on a textbook. And someday when I do have my own classroom and I get to grace the front of that classroom, whether it be in a university or a high school, whatever it may be, I want to bring that to my students. Spain has taught me that just the Spanish language is real life, and that it's something that everyone should maybe look at and experience.
After meeting with Mike, I started thinking about other students who had received scholarships. So I met with Valerie Schlegel, who 1 year ago received the prestigious Benjamin A. Gilman International Scholarship, which gave her the opportunity to study in Argentina. You've received scholarships during your time here at PSU. Do you remember how you felt when you found out that you had received the Gilman Award?
I do. I found out that no one else at Plymouth State had ever received the scholarship before. When I found out that I got it, I was just in shock, and I really didn't believe it. As a non-traditional student, it really helped a lot. I'm 28 years old, and I know a lot of students who are in that situation probably most likely have the mindset that they will never study abroad because they cannot afford it. Everyone can study abroad. There's not one person who cannot study abroad. There are so many scholarships out there. There are so many grants out there. You just have to look for it.
Did you go to Argentina with a new sense of confidence in yourself?
I felt validated. I definitely felt a lot more validated. In my Gilman scholarship, I talked about wanting to go to school for immigration law after I graduate, and I feel that it's really important to have that cultural diversity and understand other cultures.
Do you remember what your first experiences in the country were like?
I saw a huge gap between the rich and the poor in Argentina, and not necessarily in the city, but once you got on the outskirts of the city, I saw extreme poverty that I had never seen before. I guess it really solidified my passion for helping people. And living in the States, yes, there is a big gap between the rich and the poor, but I had never realized what it could really look like until I went to Argentina.
I had just one interview left with alumnus Brett Lucas, class of 2011. I wanted to hear about his experience in Limerick, Ireland, and find out how it had impacted him.
I applied to probably about 5 different schools just for a safety perspective, and I got a reply from Plymouth State saying, "Congratulations, you're accepted," and also a brochure on a freshman abroad program at the University of Limerick, Ireland. I thought that was really interesting and very unique for a freshman year to study abroad, and sent in an application, a secondary one, for that specific program to Ireland.
What was one of the things you did in Ireland that really sticks out in your memory?
Something I really didn't think I was going to do and didn't go over there planning on this. I joined a skydive club. I thought, okay, we'll jump out of a plane one time. That sounds great. But our very first meeting was an 8-hour, a full day kind of training course to become a certified solo skydiver. So throughout my time in Ireland, I jumped out of a plane solo probably 7 or 8 times. And it was a fantastic experience.
Did you take any classes in Ireland that really helped you as a student here in Plymouth?
I did take some classes at University of Limerick that helped me from a business perspective and really shape what I wanted to do when I came back here to Plymouth. One of the biggest skills that I think are so important to anyone who does study abroad was really that cultural adaptability. You leave high school, you are yourself, you are who you are, you have all your friends, but to completely be taken out of your environment and go to another country or go to another school or another city, these types of things, the skill to be able to adapt with those types of people, not change yourself and who you are, but to adapt to their culture was really important. You know, we all live inside this box that we're so comfortable in, and a lot of people call it the comfort zone. But moving and going to a place like Ireland or going to another country really shows you and almost makes you think differently and be more accepting to anything else in life that really comes at you, and really on a day-to-day level really push that envelope and really push that box and try to step outside of your comfort zone. And I think Ireland, in my experience abroad, really helped me understand that.
What would you say to a student today who was thinking about studying abroad?
My biggest piece of advice would be to don't let the money piece bother you. I mean, go to the Global Education Office and try to find some scholarships. Or how can you really make this happen? If leaving the country is expensive, there's the National Student Exchange. But most importantly, if you know you're going to study abroad next year, work 2 jobs, work 3 jobs through the summer. Whatever you can do, really stack away, work as much as you can, save as much money, and do it big.
I realized after speaking with Mike, Valerie, and Brett that each of us had not only studied abroad, we had stepped out of our comfort zones and saw the world through a different perspective. But however much I may have learned from Japan, my experience has taught me just as much about my life here in the USA. Japan has enlightened me about my own culture, our own ways and traditions, why we have them and why they're important. Our history is who we are. Now my only challenge is that I want to know more.